Rev up your engines. Okay, here we have a blast from the past. A 91 Toyota pickup. People just bought it for 2,500 bucks. I'm going to show you how to check them out, how not to listen to what people tell you, and you'll see this is actually a very good truck, even though it's old. And of course, as I always say, don't listen to anything somebody tells you about a vehicle that they're selling to you, because they told them that, oh, it just had a clutch put in. Well, they drove it from Knoxville to here, which is like 360. They got 300. The last 60 were told because the clutch broke, because it was so old, it just completely fell apart. It's got a new clutch in it now, and it works perfectly fine. But don't believe what people say. I get a lot of guys, oh, it's got a new engine. And I look at it like, doesn't look like a new engine to me. People just make up stories. You can't see the inside of a clutch till you pull the transmission off. So don't listen to what people have to say. Let's say you're looking at one of these and the clutch slips. You're in first gear and it slips a lot. Then you know, well, the clutch is worn out and you knock off the price of a clutch on the asking price of the vehicle. In this case, it worked okay until it just broke because it was so old. It just physically came apart. 91, I had a 91 Toyota Corolla SR5. That thing ran forever. It was white too. And as you can see, made in Japan. The best ones are made in Japan. And this one, of course, is a 5-speed standard transmission, which is even better. Mine was a 5-speed, same transmission as this, SR5. Thing ran forever. You got to put a clutch in every once in a while. Big deal. It's not like an automatic transmission that not only will you spend thousands to fix it, but half the time they don't even fix it right. These are pretty bulletproof. Just the clutches wear out. Now, when we look under the hood, you'll see a 4-cylinder engine. Okay? This is a 22 series. These engines are basically bulletproof. They can run forever. They do have a fuel injection system. It's the old school mass airflow sensor with a big vane that moves inside here. But as you can see, even though this thing is a 91, most of the parts are still original. I mean, I can see even the AC compressor is original. It is original. Toyota knew how to build these. Look, the master cylinder's rusty, but it's still the original one, and it still stops. Seats are falling apart. I mean, that's what happens. Get some good seat covers. They make tons of them. And for those of you that don't know what this is called a window crank. It cranks your window up and down. It doesn't have electric windows. And guess what? These things don't break. Power up. Typical Toyota starts on the first start. Speedometer, temperature gauge, fuel gauge. All you really need. And of course, they put a Pioneer aftermarket stereo because the ones in them were crap. But hey, that's a decent stereo. It's got a decent sized glove box. Look, it even has the original owner's manual. Check it out. It even came with this nice cap. They got a cap on it. And there's the old worn out clutch parts that they say were new. You can see they're not new at all. For a vehicle like this that's going to last forever, it's not a bad idea to throw a clutch in after you buy it anyways. Then you don't have to think about anything. And you can see the original steel wheels are still in good shape. Hey, they don't sound like that anymore. They don't make them as thick. Now sure, it's got a little ticking noise. An old engine like this is going to make a little bit of noise. You're just going to hear little valve noises here and there. Everything gets worn when it's this old. As long as it's running good, not burning much oil, you're gonna be happy with one of these. Don't have to worry about airbags blowing up in your face. They don't have airbags, but they got seat belts. Now, these aren't racing machines by any stretch of the imagination. They'll go up and down the road virtually forever. And this thing only has 255,000 miles on it. I've seen these with 500 and they're still going. Sounds good. Shifts fine. Now that it has a new clutch in it. They drove it to me in Clarksville from Knoxville, 360 miles, going 95 miles an hour. And it still went until the clutch broke. It'll make it back fine now because it has a new clutch. Like I said, the guy just lied to him and said, oh, it just had a clutch put in. He absolutely lied. The old one was just junk. Just came apart. As the engine revs higher, you don't hear any kind of horrible noises. That's just a little bit of valve ticking. And if it was really bad, it would tick when you really gassed it, and it doesn't. It actually quiets down then. Sure, it's not going to race going up hills, but I mean, it gets you where you're going. It's an old pickup truck that might run another 20, 30 years. Oh, as you can see, it runs perfectly fine. Got the windows open for some air. It's just a nice, dependable little work truck. Hey, the horn still blows, turn signals work, headlights work, and it goes down the road. And even with 255,000 miles on it, the wheel bearings are still solid. They're not humming. The steering's still good. Not done that power steering, but it really isn't that hard to steer. Even parking and parallel parking isn't all that hard. So there you have it, 2,500 bucks for a truck that still runs. I wouldn't be surprised if it was running 20 years from now. It's in Tennessee now. It's not going to rust out or anything. Hey. So a decent deal. Sure, they got lied to about the clutch, but what the heck. Now it's got a new clutch. It can go a long time without having to think about anything at all. And hey, it still looks pretty good. It's not bashed in, it's clean. A nice truck for 2,500 bucks. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Jonathan Zackridge says, Scotty, I got 1,500 bucks for a cheap, reliable car. What do you recommend? Well, it depends what's out there and what you can find. I mean, I'd go for Toyotas, Hondas, Toyota Corolla, Honda Civic, whatever you can find. Maybe the body's smashed in a little bit, still runs good. But I did a video today, and boy, did this guy make out like gangbusters. 18 years ago, he bought a Volvo station wagon with the 4-cylinder turbo engine for 1,500 bucks. So far, he has put 210,000 miles on this Volvo that he paid 1,500 bucks for. Now, when it did reach 300,000 miles, and it's got 323 now, he did have to have the tranny rebuilt that cost him 2,000 bucks. But still, he got his money worth on that old Volvo station wagon. I mean, you never know what you're going to come up on. You might find an estate sale, somebody died. There's an old Buick that's got 20,000 miles. If you get it for 1,500 bucks and it runs okay, there's nothing wrong with that. When you're spending $1,500, beggars can't be choosers. You can't say, here's what I want to get for 1,500. You don't know what's out there. You never know what's going to jump out in front of you that you can get and deal at. But I'll tell you one thing, stay away from the car lots. Because if you buy a car from them for 1,500 bucks, it's probably something they bought for $300-400 and marked it up, and it will be a rolling pile of junk. Shadow Kid Damien says, Scotty, I inherited a 94 F-150 with a 302 V8. We drove it around, we shut it off, it's hissing and coolant poured from the engine. There's a head gasket, it's sentimental, I want to fix it. It could be 1,000 different things. Watch my video, how to fix an overheating car engine, Scotty. You see everything. You can have a bad radiator cap. You can have a leak in the system. You can pressure test it, right? There's a zillion things. Now, if you think it might have a head gasket, get a head gasket leak test. You get them on Amazon for 39 bucks. It's a test tube. You pour a blue fluid that it comes with in the bottom. You run it. Then, if that blue fluid turns yellow, you got a blown head gasket. If it stays blue, you don't. If you want to try that test first, try that, and then you know. If it is, hey, it's a 302 V8. Those are great engines. You can have the head gaskets done. You know, lots of mechanics still work on those things, and it's definitely something that's repairable. Dr. Sisop says, Scotty, what's with the new vehicles that don't have gas caps? Yeah, one of the dumbest things on earth. Okay, years ago in race cars, they got rid of the gas cap because they want to fill them as fast as they can. So they had the little flap, and they stuck their gas cans in, and when that's empty, they get another gas can, stick it in right. It was a safety thing for race cars. It makes sense for them. But for us regular people, it's stupid. Now, instead of having a gas cap that costs practically nothing, you screw on. There's that flap. You stick it in, the flap closes. Guess what happens? After a while, the flaps break. Some of these Fords cost you $300 to $500 to replace the flap assembly instead of a $10 gas cap. It is just a stupid idea that people are foisted upon the public because they know, hey, these babies are going to break. We can charge a whole bunch of money when they break down. That's how it goes. If you follow the economic news, it turns out that China, the boom is over. After 40 years of booming, now it's starting to bust. You can see Chinese guy walking, and they're supposed to be building an overpass, but you can see it looks more like Stonehenge. They are no longer building the overpass. I have customers that do business in China, and they said they've seen areas where there was nothing, fields. All of a sudden, there's factories. Now, it's abandoned factories. They're having a real problem with unemployment, a real problem with their economy. It boomed and boomed. It can't boom forever. For every boom, there must be a bust. What goes up must come down. I mean, they got people with PhDs working in restaurants like McDonald's, but they keep turning them out. China turns out hundreds of thousands of engineers every year. Well, if there's no jobs every year, there's more hundreds of thousands of engineers on the market, and what are they going to do, you know? Now, their property bubble has certainly bust. They kept going up and up. Things are worth millions, millions. Now, down they go. When the boom booms, and then when it busts, it comes down pretty fast. Just like the stock market, right? Stocks, they can build up over time, just like real estate. It builds up over time. But man, when it drops like a stone, just like the stocks. That $200 stock, gee, you know, last week it was $200, now it's $50. Well, the same thing's happening in all of China. The funny thing is, and I find it humorous, is that it is, in quotes, communist China, right? But it's not really communist China, it's a capitalist dictatorship, because these guys are worried about falling prices, their stock market, their housing market, right? In real communism, there isn't ownership of private property. There is not a stock market, but they've got big ones there. It's so weird. It's communist politically, but in terms of economics, it's the most capitalist country in the world. And now they're having capitalist problems, and of course, their communist government is going to have to try to figure out what to do, in which case you kind of have the upside down. One side is capitalist, the other side's communist, and it's going to be spinning around trying to figure out what to do. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.